KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
All right, our time now is 7:04, and you're listening to KNON 89.3 FM, and it's time for Reverend Marion Barnett.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. As you see, we're not coming on with our theme this morning. We'll get things straightened out in just a moment. But this is Church Information in Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. We've got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things going on in the community. We have coming up later on in the program, State Representative Eric Johnson will be our guest. You're going to hear from him, a brilliant young man, a rising star in politics here in the North Texas area. Also later on, the queen of politics here in North Texas, in the state of Texas, really. Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson will be with us here also. So a lot of things going on, a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things that are evolving and going on in our community. And I'll also get your pen and paper out and keep it handy. Because Greg Barber will be coming on later on in the program with his Solution in Action Today job line, ISAT job line. And just so much, we are out of so-called Black History Month, but our African-American history is year-round. I know a lot of you have retired your dashikis for another year, but at the same time, we still have got to keep on letting people know who we are and what we have done, what we have accomplished in this world. It's something to go to school and always hear about others and see pictures of others doing great things, but when you are left out, they don't have to say you've never done anything. You'll just believe your ancestors have never done anything, and that's what the American educational system has been about. Basically leaving us out of history, and blacks as well as whites and others don't know the accomplishments and the great accomplishments of African American people in this nation and in the history of the world. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. From the beginning, the African has been the key person, the oldest people on earth. Scientists agree. Everybody knows that he is the inventor of most inventions that we build upon today. And there have been so many great accomplishments by African Americans that's hidden, that those who would run this society would not want you to know, want them others to know, because you would have a different thought. You're conditioned to think negative about yourself because you feel like you've never done anything in this world. And many times we'll make statements, we don't have sense enough to don't realize it was probably invented by us. Such as, just take as simple as math. Began in Africa. Astronomy, began in Africa. We can go on all the basic things we do and use today was invented in Africa. The wheel, invented in Africa. We can just go on and on and on. But anyway, we'll give you a few facts. We're going to give you some facts on as of today, March 9th, 2013. But in 2002, black troops in the French Indian War, even before the Revolutionary War, a pattern had been established in British colonies whereby African Americans were enlisted to defend the colonies when they were attacked. But were excluded from military service in times of peace, when the Major General Edward Braddock forces was in action. This happened a long time ago. All right, the U.S. Supreme Court declared Joseph Sinquez and the fellow mutineers free in August 1839 in the most famous slave ship revolt in history. The Sinquez, the son of African kings, and his many followers had killed the captain and took over the Spanish slave ship called the Amistad. The rebels were captured off Long Island. This is something, this was a great movie, one of the greatest movies of all time that I've ever seen, about Amistad. Also, rap artist Notorious B.I.G. was killed today in a shooting in Los Angeles. This is in 1997. The Notorious B.I.G. was killed today. Also in 1966, Andrew F. Bremer became the first black governor of the Federal Reserve Bank. Upon leaving the Federal Reserve Bank in 1974, he taught courses in marketing and finance at Harvard University in 1966. All right. So much going on. I have so many facts, African-American facts that we have. But we'd like to also look at things that are happening today. Down in Anderson County, Palestine, Texas area, they are establishing a rebel flag down a park that's geared toward the old Confederacy, flying rebel flags. And there are those who are fighting, James Smith and others who are fighting, viciously fighting, to keep some dignity and pride in their community. What do you think? What's going on? Here's a small town down in Anderson County. People are standing up. What are we doing in Dallas? You got people like Isaac Wynn, James Smith. These men are leading the charge to stop this. Do we see a resurgence, a strong resurgence in African American hatred? What's going on? I hope you can hear me. I hope you can hear me clear. And the number to call is 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. I'd like to hear, what do you think about if they flew the rebel flag over City Hall here in Dallas, or at the Commissioner's Court, or over Dallas Independent School District? If they flew those stars and bars, what would you think? 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. What do you think? Are they standing up for something? Is this their heritage and history? They should be proud of it?
Yes, sir.
Or should we stand against something that is such a part of a treacherous, notorious past? What do you think about that? 972-647-1893 is the number to call. We're going to hit on this before we get to Congresswoman Johnson and State Representative Eric Johnson, E. Johnson's, both are here this morning. But we want to hear what you think. Do we have any pride anymore? Have we lost our edge? Have we lost our edge? Is it we're not standing up anymore? We have an African American in the White House. But do you believe, and not know that we still need to remain vigilant in our fight? Do we not need to know that we should fight harder now than ever before? Because the higher we go up, the harder the fight is going to be, people. It's not going to be easier. It's not going to get easier. It gets harder. the higher we go, the harder it gets. Do we understand that? Or do we, if we relax, we're going to retreat. We're going to fall back. We're going to go backwards. We're going to retreat. What about that? Give us a call. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 3 and say good morning to Gerald. All righty? All right. Good morning, Gerald. I can't hear anything.
Praise.
Yeah, good morning.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, Gerald. Thank you.
All right. Good morning. Praise be to God for another day and all.
I know that's right.
Definitely. And that's something that we all should, before our feet even hit the floor, is praise God, because without Him we can't do nothing. And no matter if it's bad or good, you can't even go and knock a person in the head without God allowing you to do it. But if you do it, you know the consequences of it. But just like everything else, as with this flag and textbooks and all that, they're beginning to write things, modernize. Let me say it like that, modernize. You know, that here in Georgia at one time they was wanting to put in the textbooks the slave reform hand. You know, I want to.
Well, they call that revisionist history, but it's nothing but a lie. That's all that is.
So ain't nothing like the original.
Yeah.
So tell it the way it happened. That way you ain't got to try to put in your own opinion and distort from the true facts of things. So if they fly that flag over it, we just got to educate one what it meant, what it represents. You know, it say it's not race or hatred.
All right, Gerald, you got, okay, see, can you get him back on? Is he gone?
Yeah, we actually
Okay, Gerald, I'm sorry about that. You were accidentally cut off. And just call us back. Try to get back in. And you can try it at 972-647-1893. See if that's Gerald trying to get back in there on 3. See if that... Yeah. See if that's him trying to get back in. Oh, okay.
Gerald on line 3.
Yeah, bring him back on. All right, Gerald, you back?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
That's understandable. Yes, you know, as I stated, you know, we just got to educate it, because if we continue to let them revise things as time go on, next thing you know, we're gonna be forgotten about. I hate to try to compare myself as a black man to any other race, because I'm proud of myself being American black, and I think that I would dishonor my ancestors if I try to go and make myself be blonde-headed and blue-eyed. Don't get me wrong, they should be just as proud of themselves too, because you know what, as I look at it, I wouldn't want my ancestor be the one that put others into slavery or whatever other atrocity that happened. But look at the Jews. They not letting their history fade away. You go and try to tell something different than the way it happened.
No people that's a proud people allow their history to be just be pushed aside. All proud nations, which that includes just about everybody on earth, exalt their history and stand proud of their history. We're the only people that really try to hide our history. We've been taught to be ashamed of our history until we go back and rethink and learn our history. Then we would be as proud as anybody on the face of the earth, maybe prouder, because we're the oldest people on the face of the earth. In the Bible, God used us throughout all of the Bible. If we only knew our history. All right, thank you, and thank you, and you have a wonderful day. All right.
Thank you, and y'all be the same.
Yes. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. We're having our producer this morning is none other than the Dr. Ezra Davis. along with Doc Dockery. They produce it. All righty. We go on the line 4 and say good morning to Reverend Crenshaw. All righty. Good morning, Reverend Crenshaw.
Good morning, everyone.
How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm up and kicking.
All right.
Thank the Lord.
Thank you.
And disregarding our history, it's like an alligator pouncing on a poodle. As Jim, the former state attorney general just said a few minutes ago. One might say that better than 98 to 99% of this world's inventions were products of the descendants of the Nubians and the Moors,
right?
Blackamoors. And many things that we do, like the statue of Mrs. Rosa Parks, we don't get acknowledgement and credit for it till after we're long dead and gone. And I believe President Obama is not only the smartest president that's been up there, even smarter than Kennedy and Kennedy and Clinton, but I believe he's smarter than every one of them up there.
Oh yeah, I tell you, Reverend Crenshaw, could you hang on? Y'all put him on. I'm up against a short break. Just hang on. We'll come back and let you finish your call. All right. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. 972-647-1893. We'll be.
Our grandfather, he loved the movie. His father, he loved it. I never loved the movie.
Big Bill Morganfield is coming back. That's right, the son of Muddy Waters in Dallas this Saturday night for a big Knon Blues benefit event at Port David's Pub.
Big Bill will be playing his father's guitars during this rare Dallas appearance.
Get there early, we'll have free barbecue from the Alligator Cafe.
Also appearing will be the Super Kings and Susie Q and the Shafts featuring James Hinkle.
Join us for this very special blues event.
Tickets are available now at knon.org, Bill's Records, and Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie.
This Saturday, March 9th, it's Big Bill Morganfield with the Super Kings and Susie Q and the Shafts featuring James Hinkle at Port David's Pub. And don't forget that free barbecue dinner from the Alligator Cafe.
Port David's Pub is located at 1313 South Lamar in Dallas.
We'll see you there. This is a KNON benefit event.
Jim Hightower has moved to be a part of KNON's Speak Up Saturday. Jim Hightower's segments can now be heard at the start of each of KNON's great talk programming starting at 7 a.m. with Reverend Marion Barnett's show, Church Information and Open Forum, with the news and talk of South Dallas. Then at 9, the CWA presents Workers Beat with the news and talk of the unions hosted by Jean Lance and Bonnie Mathias. At 10, the Dallas Observer presents Get Off My Lawn with Jim Schutz, bringing you the other side of Dallas news. Finishing up Speak Up Saturdays at 11 is Lambda Weekly with the news and talk of the LGBTQ community, hosted by David Taffet, Patty Fink, and Laurent Landis. Now starting at each of these shows is Jim Hightower's insightful segment at 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 a.m. each and every Saturday morning right here on the Voice of the People, KNON 89.3 FM.
J Spider Productions presents the Gigantic Gospel Concert 2013, featuring some of the gospel artists like the Van Allen Group, Dr. Tinsy and the Highlights, George Dean and the Gospel 4, Lee Williams and the Spiritual QC, Tim Rogers and the Fellas, Little Roy and the Revelations, Saturday, April 13th at Friendship West Baptist Church, 2020 West Beatland Road in Dallas, with the Van Allen, Dr. Tinsy and the Highlights, George Dean and the Gospel 4, Lee Williams and the Spiritual QC, Tim Rogers and the Fellas, and Lil Roy and the Revelations, Saturday, April 13th. Doors open at 3 p.m. Show starts at 4. Tickets at ticketweb.com. Friendship West Baptist Church and J Spiker Productions at 877-291-1918.
This is Sonny Boy Mark, and I'd like to take a minute here to tell you about over 60 minutes of great blues listening available now on KNON's Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 Blues CD. This is some great stuff, folks. 15 tracks from the Two-Tones, Blues Boy Bo, Betty Whittington, Andrea Dawson, Kirkland James, Sonny Colley, Johnny Red and the Roosters, the Chris Watson Band, the Rough Cut Blues Band, Jeff Stone with Charlie Love, David Millsap, Sir Loin and the Ass Kicking Machine, Michael J. and the Paul Bird Band, and JJ and the Detonators. The 1,000 copies we made are selling fast and we won't reissue it. Get yours now at Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, Recordtown in Fort Worth, and in Dallas at Bill's Records and Rewind Music. The CD is available as a download at cdbaby.com. All proceeds benefit KNON, sponsored by Forever Young Records. Vinyl copies available at Forever Young Records only. For more info on Texas Blues Radio Volume 5, visit knon.org. Your ears been bending for some blues? Well, feed them the real thing with Texas Blues Radio Volume 5.
All right, we are back on Church Information Open Forum. We got it? Okay. We're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. We have Reverend Ezra Davis producing, along with Doc Ritter this morning. And if I have an echo coming to you, just call quickly and let us know if I'm echoing. We're trying to get the sound right. These men usually don't produce through the electronic work for my show. It's a very hard show to produce because there's so much electronics they put on for the show. So if I'm echoing, call and let us know at 972-647-1893. Okay, let's go back to line 4 and say good morning to Reverend Crenshaw again. Rev, are you there?
I'm still here.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Pleasure. Yes, sir. Did you ever look up that picture, Dark Blue? Will tell you how the crack cocaine got all over the nation, the game got started.
I most certainly did. I looked it
up. Did you?
And
were you well informed?
Yes, it's well informed. There was a lot of stuff that I had talked about years ago. Crack cocaine in Texas was introduced on this show. The head of the Dallas Health Department introduced it here in 1986 on this show. He came on and talked about there's a new drug out there, and people were amazed, talking about what is this crack, this crack, and it was something that he talked about, and he told us it's going to be the worst disaster that ever hit us since slavery, and he was not lying. It's true. It was a cheapened form of cocaine, because pure cocaine used to be called a white boy's high.
Right.
You know, but they cooked this and wore it down, I guess, and make so much of it. Well, the poor man could get his hands on it, and that's where they wanted to put it.
Well, they put other additives in there too. If you look at Guinness Books of World Records, a lot of poisons in it.
Yeah.
It's not pure stuff.
It cooks the rain, man. You catch anybody that's been on that stuff for a long time.
Right.
Oh my God, they just go crazy, they talk crazy, and they act crazy. So, but they can't help it. They can't help it. And you got people like Oliver North. You know who that is, and
I didn't know about him.
Oh, you didn't know that he?
Oh, he was in it. Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh
yeah, he was in it. But I thought you were saying he was on it.
Oh no. I wasn't saying that.
Okay.
I don't know. But
let me tell you that, was that guy from Ethiopia that figured he wouldn't get a job in Dallas, and they hired him anyway, and then one day something happened and he was no more?
Yep.
That was him.
Right, that was
I figured that's what it was, because he was in
oh, you talking about Allen North? No. Allen North was with the government.
No. I'm talking about the black guy, the Ethiopian.
Oh, the Ethiopian guy here in Dallas, yeah.
Yeah.
And,
he came up.
Well, he came up there, okay?
Yeah, right. That's it.
But anyway, thank you for your call and coming. All my lines are full, and
okay. Well, I'm gonna have to let you go. I was gonna really tell you the goods on Africa, East and West Shore.
Why don't you call me next week and we give you plenty of time to talk about that? Right?
I will lay it on you.
Okay, lay it on. Okay.
Goodbye, and God bless you.
God bless you. All right, 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to James in Palestine. All righty. Good morning, James.
Yes, good morning, Reverend Barnett.
Fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I appreciate your sacrifices to all of us, what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and talk fast, and you can jump in wherever you see you could, but the group that's doing this is the John H. Reagan Camp number 2156, Sons of the Confederacy, and also the Daughters of the American Revolution. And what they've done...
They're the ones putting out these rebel flags.
Yes, sir. A few years back, they went to our Anderson County Commissioner's Court and swayed them with the portrait of George Washington, and they also had put in their little agenda what they were presenting, that they wanted to do something to honor Confederate month, but they didn't let them know that they wanted to fly a flag, so they deceived the Anderson County Commissioner Court. And when they flew, they allowed them to put that flag up. The county jury apologized, but then anyway, while the flag was flying, the people in Palestine got together with the city council, and the city council were in agreement. They said no, they met that evening and said, we're going to tell them to take that flag down. So in the process of the city putting a resolution together to ask them to take it down, during that meeting, a commissioner, a black commissioner from Precinct 2, came over to the city council meeting and told them they didn't have to put a resolution together. The group had agreed to take the flag down because it was wrong what they did. And then anyway, that resolved it for a little bit, but the group came back to the courthouse the next week or two protesting about having to take it down. And in the process, there was a lot of interchange in words and all, but as the time moved along, the group didn't go away. And what they did, they waited a few years and they came back and said that one guy from Tennessee owns some private property here in Palestine, supposedly, and it's named under that group. Now what they did, they went to City Hall and got a permit and said they were going to build a driveway, but they were actually deceiving the city, saying it was a driveway, when actually they're going to try to build this Park Plaza up there. And that is, instead of the city investigating this complaint about why they did like they did, they allowed this thing to continue to build up to the point where now they have the park nearly open, and on April the 18th, they plan on having a big celebration, all the process that you do, saluting the flag and all of that. Supposedly, it's about 4 flagpoles up. Mr. Wynn may call in a little bit today, but I want to say this is what the Chamber of Commerce said in the newspaper. If I got it, you give me a minute to read what the Chamber of Commerce told them. They went to the Chamber of Commerce, tried to get a permit to have a booth downtown and also to ride in there, be in the parade. Here's what the Chamber of Commerce said. The Palestine Area Chamber of Commerce is for building a stronger community. Our volunteers spend countless hours doing so. A Chamber Board Director said, it is not in the community's best interest to allow political divisive groups to participate in the Dogwood Trails Parade or to be a vendor at the festival. We are charged with keeping with the responsibility to operate on behalf of the city of Palestine. Now, the Chamber of Commerce drew a line in the sand, but the city has allowed this group to go ahead on and build this plaza, and they allowed their commissions, planning and zoning, historical landmark commission, and all these little groups in Main Street and all of them to participate to allow this first line of deception to continue instead of stopping it and investigating it and drawing a line in the sand like the Chamber did. I'm very concerned. The NACP took up the fight, but the way things are going for the NACP, Mr. Wynn may get to come in and tell you that. It looks like they're fighting a battle but losing the war, from what I see. Earlier.
Here's what needs to happen.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. We need a major march down there. We're going to have to see, by you calling here, I can tell that you like to rally people here in Dallas, all over North Texas, all between here, Cost County, wherever it is. If y'all in trouble, that means we're in trouble.
Yes, sir. That's
It'll
correct.
start in Palestine. They'll try that mess here in Dallas.
Yes, sir.
And it still, to me, goes on and have been and never been addressed. We've always had a park here for years and years and years. In fact, we used to have rallies on that park back in the early 70s. It's called Lee Park, Robert E. Lee. Right down there at, Oak Lawn and Cedar Springs. And he's on his white horse. The horse is reared up in the air. This is utterly ridiculous.
Yes,
Someone, the Major General of the Confederacy, to keep us enslaved. We've got stuff in Dallas we need to address, but you brothers and sisters down there in Palestine, we're going to help. We'll help up here to rally people. We have to go down there and help you because if they start, it's going to spread. All it takes is a spark to ignite a forest fire. That's all it takes. And all this bigotry and hatred that's going on, they're looking for a good spark. So we're going to have to stamp it out before it gets started.
Yes, sir.
right.
We'll stay in touch, and we have cameras, Mr. Wynn and I, and we travel, and we do a lot of civil rights work in Palestine and County, and we travel all over, and we're involved with a lot of things. One other thing before I get away, this John H. Reagan did a lot of good things for African black people. They call them colored in that day down here, but also there's history recorded that there was a black woman that a white man raped here in Palestine, Anderson County, and this black woman killed that white man, and it's recorded that this black woman that Judge Reagan hung this black woman, the only woman hung in the history of Texas. This was this black woman here that John H. Reagan, Judge Reagan hung.
James, look it up. Let's get the history on that, and we're trying to find out about that. She killed a man and raped her, and she ended up getting hung also. All right. Thank you so much
for
that, and we're going to talk about that.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
We thank you for your call and comment. All righty, 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. Let's go to Miss Kleberg on line 3. Miss Kleberg, good morning.
Good morning, Pastor. How are you?
Fine. You doing all right?
I'm doing good. I was just calling because you said call in if you hear echo. We don't hear an echo, but it sounds like you're talking from way back in the back part of a room. So that's how it's coming out to us. Now, the callers, they're coming in very clearly.
But I'm not coming in clear at all.
You're coming in. You're coming in clear, but it just sounds like you're far back and like you're not talking into the mic.
Oh, okay. Believe me, I'm right in the mic. But it's just one of those things. It's one of those days when the the Gremlins are out working. They up work early this morning working. I hope it doesn't hinder y'all listening, because people like to be comfortable when they're listening to you on the radio. And obviously we got some Gremlins in the line, and Doc is trying to work those Gremlins out. He's been running the whole show trying to work them out, and we're going to have a guest. I hope Congresswoman Johnson will be probably calling from Washington. I think she's back in Washington, and State Representative Eric Johnson is coming here into the studio. So I hope we can get these lines cleared up, but please y'all stick with me and listen. And I'll try to talk stronger and louder where I won't seem like I'm in the back of the room somewhere.
Okay, and we can hear them picking up the phone too. But we can hear them picking up the phone.
His eyes bugged when you said that. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Kleberg. All right. 972-647-1893. All right. I tell you what, let's get our job line. Let's get our job line in. All righty. Let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Mr. Greg Barber. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, Marion Barnett.
Fine. How are you this morning?
Doing fine.
Am I echoing to you?
No. I don't hear an echo.
You don't hear one? Do it sound like I'm off in the closet, back of the room somewhere?
Well, no, it sounds like you're in a large room, but other than that,
yeah,
okay. Not an echo though.
Oh, okay, all right. Are there any jobs out there?
There are some jobs out here this morning on our SAT job line. That's Solutions and Actions Today job line, brought to you every Saturday morning during church information and open forum here on KNON from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on KNON 89.3, the voice of the people. This morning on the job line, we have American Income Life is looking for the customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.ailcareerswithanis.com. Once again, the web address is www.ailcareerswithanis. Liberty National Insurance is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at lnlcareerswithanis.com. Once again, that web address is www.lnlcareerswithanis.com. Uline is looking for customer service representatives at Firehouse Coach.
Okay, good.
They're asking you to apply online at www.uline.com. Once again, that's Uline is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.uline.com. State Farm Insurance is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.
Ask your wife to come in. Let me wish her happy birthday coming up Monday. Ask her to come.
State Farm Insurance is looking for a customer service representative. They're asking you to apply online at www.statefarm.com. Overhead Doors is looking for warehouse associates. They're asking you to apply online at www.hourlycareers-overheaddoors.icims.com. Once again, that web address is Overhead Doors looking for warehouse associates. They're asking you to apply at www.hourlycareers-overheaddoor.icims.com. Loloy Rugs is looking for warehouse associates. They're asking you to apply at www.loloyrugs.com. Once again, that web address is www.loloyrugs.com. If you are a child-loving, patient, and energetic individual and would like to work in the daycare setting, the number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. Once again, if you are a child-loving, patient, and energetic individual who would like to work in the daycare setting, the number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. If you are a person affected by addiction and need assistance with your recovery, or an ex-offender trying to make the transition back in the mainstream society and need assistance with job search, the number for inquiry is 214-63722. Once again, if you are a person affected by addiction and need assistance with your recovery efforts, or an ex-offender trying to make the transition back in the mainstream society and need assistance with job search, the number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. Let me repeat that. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. Today is also a great day to make pledge to church information and open form and follow through with it. Today is also a great day to make a pledge to church information and open form and follow through. I would like to congratulate both the schools of Dallas Independent School District, the Justin F. Kimball Knights, who will be playing for the 4A state championship today at 3 o'clock.
3 years in a row.
The Madison Trojans of Dallas, who will be playing the Houston Yates at 10 a.m. this morning for the 3A state championship. Both of those schools are to be recommended. I want to give kudos to the coach, Mr. Royce Johnson. He's done a fabulous job over there. He's been in state the last 4 years consecutive. He's won it 2 back-to-back. If he's able to complete the trifecta, it'll be 3 consecutive years that they've won state. They're over there at Kimball High School.
Well, and it's sad that the Dallas Independent School District has been trying their best to get rid of him.
Yes, even though there is a provision that they're protesting, he is well within the guidelines of the district. But he has been more successful than any other coach here in the Dallas area.
Well, what about James Mays? Mays has been over at Lincoln has been very successful.
Has been very successful, but we're talking success in what's considered an urban blighted area, in what's considered urban at-risk youth. We're talking these guys are succeeding. They are.
I tell you what, Greg, I'm up against a short break. Hang on. Y'all hang Greg on. And we'll talk about that. And we have a young lady. If you walked in the studios now, you would think it would be Texas Northeast State Mother, P.A. Williams, but it's not. And how this fella got this woman, I don't know, but we'll talk about it a little later.
Want to find out about upcoming events at KNON? Want to see pictures from past events or need information about the station? Then you need to like the official KNON Facebook page. It's easy to find. Just go to facebook.com/KNON893. It's the KNON 89.3 FM station-produced page for Facebook. It's the easiest way to keep up with what's going on here at KNON. Like us and share with your friends today. That's facebook.com/KNON893. Accept no substitutions.
Top Dollar Tax Service. Tax preparation offering services for business and personal taxes.
electronic filing, W-2, Schedule Cs, 1099. Student credit funded in 24 hours. That's Top Dollar Tax Service located at 3333 Cedar Crest Boulevard in Dallas. Their phone number is 214-941-1176 or on the web at www.topdollartaxservice.com. Serving the community for over 8 years, a CPA is available. They are open Monday through Saturdays, 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. and Sundays by appointment. For information, Omar at 214-941-1176. That's 214-941-1176. R&R Productions presents the sensational Harmonizers album debut. Saturday, March the 30th at the Greater Macedonia Primitive Baptist Church, located at 8343 Bruton Road in Dallas. Featuring the Southern Sons of Memphis, Tennessee, Reverend E.J. Lee and the Rapturers of Dallas, Kings of Harmony Plus One, Minister Israel Davis, and the new outstanding gospel singers from Fort Worth. Guest MC, Sister Francis Smith. Doors open at 4:30, program starts at 5. Tickets available at Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie and Bill's Records on Lamar in Dallas. For further information, 214-275-7560 or 214-375-8150.
If you want to call... All right, we're back on Church Information in Open Forum, and also we have already joined us in the studio, the State Representative Eric Johnson. We'll be hearing from him in just a moment. But right now, we have a young lady that's having a birthday coming up, and we'd like to say good morning to Miss Elnora. Good morning, Sister Elnora.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett.
Fine. And we have a fella here that says you better have his breakfast ready when he gets off the air every Saturday morning, and he's sitting up here with his chest out talking about this. You'll have it ready when I get there. But Richard heard him saying that he ran over there and ate his breakfast up. And what do you think about him?
Well, he loved to kick his chest out. The reason he does that because I love to cook.
Oh, is that why he do that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but you don't be hearing all that noise he's talking to you.
No, I don't hear all that noise he be telling you. Because if I heard the noise that he was telling you, he probably wouldn't get no breakfast.
He probably wouldn't get any breakfast. Well, the next time he do it, I'm going to call you on the phone and let you know you've been on air talking noise.
Okay. But I love to cook.
Monday's your birthday.
Oh, yes, it is.
All right. Which is that? Who's that? March 11th?
March 11th.
March 11th. What year? Well, may God bless you, and may you have many, many more birthdays.
Just sing happy birthday to me.
Okay. We'll sing it at the end of the hour, all right?
Okay.
All right. Sister Eleanor Davis, the wife of Brother Ezra Davis. But right now, in our studio, a young man that has his head on straight. I don't think his pants were sagging when he came in, but he came in. His name is Eric Johnson, District 100 representative, and he was first elected in April 2010. He was reelected in November 2012. He serves as on 4 prominent committees as vice chair of the House Committee on Natural Resources and as vice chair of House Committee on General Investigating and Ethics and the House Committee on Elections and the House Select Committee on Transparency and State Agency Operations. He also served as the House and Senate Joint Oversight Committee on Higher Education, Governance, Excellence, and Transparency. All righty. State Representative, we got a lot more to read on. This young man is a Harvard grad, and he's from here in Dallas, Texas, homegrown here in Dallas. Brilliant young man. Good morning, Representative Johnson.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing just great. Good to have you here.
Good to be here.
Yes. Austin is in session. What do you have? 4 or 5 months every other year.
It's 5 months every odd number year.
Yeah, every odd number
Texas
year.
Constitution says every odd number year for 140 days.
Okay. Basically, like to ask you, get a little background on you, because
introducing to some, but just presenting to many. State Representative Johnson, can you tell us what part of Dallas did you grow up in?
Yeah, actually, I grew up in West Dallas and then Oak Cliff. So I was born in St. Paul, and my family, my grandparents came to West Dallas on my mother's side from East Texas, and that's where my mom was raised, where my dad grew up, and they met over there in the West Dallas projects. And so by the time I was born, they moved back to West Dallas. That's where I grew up until we moved to Oak Cliff. So
in other words, you're a product of the West Dallas projects.
No, they grew up in the project. We grew up across the street in an apartment complex.
Still,
right there.
You right there in West Dallas.
There. Yeah, right on Bickers and Hampton Road. Our church that we grew up in, the Dallas West Church of Christ, was right there near that corner. And if you keep going down Bickers and then you get on Canada Drive, there used to be an apartment complex over there we used to call the K-Mac apartments over there, and that's where I grew up. Right on Canada Drive, right by the levee. Yep.
Yes. Now that answers the question. Can any good thing come out of West Dallas?
Yeah, I think a lot of good stuff's come out of West Dallas.
I know that.
I don't know if I'm one of them, but I know a lot of good stuff has come out of West Dallas.
There's so much going on in this state. Texas is one of the states that had to be sued and lost their lawsuit when it come to election fraud.
Right.
And there we will spend money and do everything we can, go to war to give other nations the right to vote. But at the same time, we have those legislators here in Texas and other states across America trying to deny people of color the right to vote. How do you deal with this? How have you dealt with this, Representative Johnson?
It's probably one of the biggest disappointments that I've had in my short political career is going down to the legislature last session and having us have that voter ID bill shoved down our throats. It's really what it was. It was shoved down our throats. We fought that as hard as we could, but we didn't have the numbers. We knew we didn't have the numbers.
Were there along party lines?
Yes, strictly party lines. I mean, it's much of a party line vote as you'll ever see, and I'm pretty confident that not a single Democrat supported voter ID. So it was a straight party line vote.
Republicans were for suppression?
I would argue it's suppression for sure. They would argue, and they have always argued, that voter ID is about eliminating voter fraud. But what I would say to them, and I did say to them, and I'll continue to say to them, is that we don't have a voter fraud problem in this country. We have a voter participation problem in this country. We don't have enough people participating in the process. Not that we have people who love voting so much they go in and voting 2 and 3 and 4 times, and that's
hard to get them to vote one time.
Yeah, it's hard to get people to vote once. So we don't have a problem with people impersonating voters, which is the only kind of voter fraud that a voter ID bill would even address. Would be if I, Reverend Barnett, decided that I wasn't happy with just voting for myself, that I wanted to go get a fake ID made or take your ID and go vote for you. Now that's not happening. That's just not happening.
The Republicans did a study on that, and they came up with 1,000,000,000, whatever it was, 0.3 voter fraud in the last 12 years.
That's right.
In America, there is no problem.
The George Bush Justice Department, when George Bush was president, actually looked at voter fraud nationally, and they found that voter fraud is essentially a non-existent problem. But there's already a movement afoot within the conservative side of the political spectrum. There's already a movement. They saw an opportunity using voter fraud language and using voter fraud as sort of a scare tactic to implement the kind of laws that we passed last session that would have the consequence of, hopefully in their minds, keeping just a few more African Americans, older people coming off paper, people coming out of the prison system, younger voters, students. If they felt like if this requirement were in place and it just skimmed off a few of those voters, it would help the Republican cause nationally in some swing states and some key areas that would have helped in the 2012 election. So a lot of this was about really just making sure President Obama would not get reelected in 2012.
Right. You are an attorney.
Yes.
And
I try to be when I have time to practice. Yeah.
All right. Would you explain those who have gone to prison?
Yes.
And now they're out. Explain where they have to be. What can they be on paper and vote? Can they never vote again? Explain the law.
I'm happy to explain that because it's something I'm real passionate about. And in fact, I have a bill that I want y'all to know about that I filed to try to make this even clear. Okay. First thing people need to know is that election law is a state law issue. We don't have very many laws about how you administer an election that are handed down from the federal government. Mm-hmm. How you run an election is something that's determined by your state legislature. That's in every state.
It's in all 50 states.
In all 50 states. So what you can do with respect to voting as an ex-offender depends on what state you're in. There's no national answer to this question. Mm-hmm. There are some states that, and this is tragic to me, but I can only do what I can do in Texas. But there are some states where your right to vote is forever forfeited if you are convicted of a felony. You can never participate again as a voter.
But probably how many states do you think?
Oh, I think I'm gonna guess that's in the single digits.
Yeah. So in other words, if you ever get a felony,
you're done with voting. You can.
Your goose is cooked.
Yeah, that privilege is gone forever. Now Texas is not one of those states. Texas is a state that has taken, compared to what it could take and what you might expect Texas to take, a pretty reasonable position. They've said, okay. Now, by the way, on one extreme you have never voting again if you've committed a felony, and then on the other extreme, I'd say you have you can still vote even when you're in prison. Mm-hmm. As a felon. That's on the other end. You can people who they don't take your rights away at all for being a felon. So somewhere in between is where Texas is. Texas says as long as you are either incarcerated or on paper, while you're under some type of community supervision, that means the terms of your sentence have not been fulfilled and you can't vote yet. But the day, the second, the minute, the hour that ends.
When you go off parole.
When you go off parole, when you come off probation, when you come out of jail on a flat release or out of prison on a flat release, once you are no longer obligated to the state in any way, you can vote that minute. So I have a bill, I'm going to have to look at the number of it, but I filed a bill that would require as a matter of law that when you come off parole or when you are flat released from TDCJ, Texas Department of Criminal Justice, that they have to in the materials that they give you when they release you, and they give you a little money and they give you some materials about housing and some other things, how to transition. A voter registration card has to be in that packet to let you know that you are now eligible to start voting again. Because I believe it's your right, so there's no reason why we shouldn't give you the card. But B, I believe, and there's evidence out there that people who start participating in society again, voting and doing, they reoffend less often. It actually helps them stay out of trouble.
It gives them dignity and pride as a citizen and upstanding citizen.
That's correct.
When we look at this whole thing, we begin to look at how
that bill, by the way, sorry to interrupt this, House Bill 466.
Okay.
House Bill
466.
466.
We fumbled the ball in 2010.
Nation. Yes, we did.
We thought just because we had elected a African American president in 8 that everything was all over. Didn't realize it was only the beginning.
Correct.
And we should have gone back to the polls in mass numbers in 10 like we did in 8. But now that's spilled milk now. What do we need to do to make sure voters go to the polls in 14?
Wow, I mean, Reverend Barnett, you're one of the few people I've heard hit that nail on the head the way you just did. And I want to thank you for saying that, because I don't think people quite understand what 2010 did to us in Texas and what it did all across the nation. Yeah. And I'm going to be even more specific about that. So just to make sure people don't miss this point, we did a great thing in 2008 when we elected President Obama. Right. We did a great thing. but we almost, we were still on our victory lap in 2010, and we lost sight of something that's very important, which is every 10 years we redraw congressional districts. We do what's called reapportionment, and we basically, after we get the census results back in the 2010, 2020, 2030, every 10 years, we then take that census data, figure out where the new population is, and then the number of congressional districts in the country is fixed at 435. So those have to get redistributed according to where the new population is. The state legislatures are the ones who are in charge of that process.
That's right.
And we also, the state legislators, are in charge of drawing our own districts.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that going into a redistricting session, which is always the first odd number year after the end of the decade, so that would have been the 2011 session, my first one. Again, you want to make sure you go into that session with a numerical majority so you can control that process. Right. Well, we went into that session with the worst Democratic minority from my perspective. I'm a Democrat. We came with the lowest number of Democrats we had ever had, and we got.
And that's both in the House and Senate.
That's in the House and the Senate. That's right.
So y'all didn't have a plan.
There's not much movement on the Senate side in terms of those districts are so big that they don't have a lot of shifts in Democrat-Republican balance. So that was roughly the same as it was the session before. But on the House side, we had dropped down to below 50. That's
a poor showing.
Right. So the bottom line is, to make a long story short, is we got districts drawn that were really, really, really bad. Our congressional districts weren't what they could have been, even though we had a tremendous growth in Latino and Black population in the state.
They gerrymandered themselves into safe districts no matter what. I tell you what, we got to take a short break. On the line also with us, be coming up right after the hour, is Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Knon 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Any remake of the 1950s movie The Bad Seed should cast Monsanto in the title role. This biotech behemoth has a monopolistic grip on the creation and sale of frankenseeds, the seeds of corn, cotton, soybeans, and other crops that have had genetically modified organisms spliced into their natural DNA structure by corporate lab techs. Why insert risky, inadequately tested GMOs into our food supply? To produce crops that can survive heavier doses of toxic pesticides, specifically pesticides marketed by Monsanto. The corporation gets more profit, we get more pesticides and new man-made health risks. That's enough to make a truly horrific movie about the bad seed, but Monsanto has added to the horror by almost sadistically applying another level of its monopoly power. Having patented the GMO technology, the corporation asserts that when the plants grow in a farmer's field and subsequently produce their own seeds, those second-generation seeds do not belong to the farmer, but are Monsanto's private property. Thus, the seed-saving ethic that has sustained agriculture all around the world for centuries has been decreed illegal to benefit Monsanto. And the profiteering giant prowls the country to find and sue any of its own customers who dare practice the sensible art of seed saving. The bully has 75 staffers and a $10 million a year budget dedicated to monitoring, investigating, prosecuting, and intimidating small farmers, even if some second-generation GMO seeds cropped up in their fields inadvertently. This is Jim Hightower saying, this is a case of one deep-pocket corporation perverting patent law in order to monopolize the sale of seeds, gouge thousands of farmers, and endanger both human health and the environment. To fight the ongoing horror of this bad seed, go to organicconsumers.org.
For the KNON talk shows. You can watch church information and forum by going to the KNON.org website. Click on schedules to the left side of your screen, choose Church Information and Forums page. Scroll to the bottom of that page, then choose your favorite show to watch or download. This show will be ready for viewing by lunchtime Tuesday. Have a great day.
Albert, I sure have enjoyed this, man. Thank you. All right, are we ready? All right. Eric, Greg Barber. So I tell you what, but right now, let's we'll get Greg in the next session. He can call us back. But right now, we'd like to go to our Knon hotline and welcome on aboard United States Congresswoman, the 30th District, Miss Eddie Bernice Johnson. Is Congresswoman. Which line is she on? Well, bring on. Yeah, bring on. Congresswoman Johnson, are you there? I'm not hearing you.
Me?
Yes, go right ahead. Are you there, Congresswoman?
Yes, I am.
Good morning. Good morning. All right. I thought a gremlin had got in the phone lines again this morning. Oh, my God. We have something before us. Congresswoman, I think we are both old enough to remember. We're both over 19. And we can remember those days of poll taxes and everything else, and not having hot lunches for children and different things. Sequestration is going on in Washington, and we're having problems with voting. Could you explain to us what is sequestration?
Sequestration is simply stopping programs, cutting programs. Of course, we all know that the more we cut, the fewer jobs we are going to have, because our cuts mean cutting jobs. And in this case, it means cutting jobs and cutting services. And naturally, like anything else, the persons who get cut are the ones sometimes most in need of those services.
Well, what about the not taxing the rich? Does that have anything to do with this standoff that seems to be going on between the House of Representatives, basically the Republican side, and the White House? Is that one of the sticking points?
Well, it is. It is a sticking point because the Republicans are just not interested. They have proven it in working with the president. So whatever they think that will hurt the president or keep him from being successful, that's what they're trying to support. It's unfortunate that this is the case, but it certainly is. And it hasn't occurred to them that this will not hurt the president personally. But what they're interested in is hurting the people that support him. It is so clear when you work closely with these people that they do not want to see this president with any type of success or victory. The economy was going along very well and will continue up until sequester sets in.
Okay.
There's no way we can have a healthy economy under sequester.
Yeah.
And too many people will lose jobs.
Yeah. Well, we are. When you came on, we're sitting here kicking it with our state representative, Eric Johnson, and he's here with us this morning. We were talking about things that were going on with this voting rights. It's sad that when we're talking about going to war in Afghanistan, other parts of the world, and we're fighting to give other peoples, what they say, an opportunity for democracy, the right to vote. But yet and still, we have all over this nation state houses trying to deny the right to vote to citizens. How are y'all going to attack that, Congresswoman?
Well, we're trying to stand up to it. I did go to the oral arguments before the Supreme Court on the 27th of February. And I've written a couple of articles about that since then, because I'm still cannot call which way the Supreme Court is going to rule. I understand they had their votes last Friday, but of course they won't reveal until all of their opinions are written where they are. In sitting there, we could almost count the votes in a typical speech there. What we cannot call is which way the swing voter will go.
If you had to just do an educated guess, we all know it's probably going to come out 5-4. Which side do you think is going to fall on?
Well, I can't say what side, but let me just say this: I cannot see the logic of not upholding Section 5.
Mm-hmm.
The facts are there of the need,
mm-hmm.
and Shelby County. Texas has filed as well, but they haven't made a decision.
With the Shelby County, Alabama.
Alabama
Mm-hmm.
was probably the poster child of abuse.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't surprise me because where there's the most abuse, it's also the most hostility.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so, and then you also find the attitude of not wanting anybody to tell them what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the population growth in this country is moving away from being pure Anglo.
Mm-hmm.
It is the minority vote is growing. The minority people are growing,
mm-hmm.
and that vote seems to be going to the Democratic Party.
Mm-hmm.
So this desperation move is by the Republicans, and it's being moved in every corner through redistricting, through policies to make life miserable for the future. It is a concerted effort, and it's not difficult to see
mm-hmm.
that every effort that they can make to set the country back, they're attempting to do that.
How can they look at you, African American representatives, probably Hispanic Congress people? How can those fellas look at y'all in the eye, and ladies, look at y'all in the face and really knowing full well they're trying to turn back the hands of time on the progress of your people? How do you get along with them?
You get along okay, because if you're not talking about those issues,
mm-hmm.
It's just kind of small talk, and most people are nice. Now, when they get together,
mm-hmm.
it is very clear that they have a very good understanding as to their goals,
mm-hmm.
because they can talk very friendly,
mm-hmm.
Make small talk, whatever. But when they get ready to vote,
it's a different story.
They're going to stick together.
Eric Cantor, do you ever even talk to him or speak with him?
Yes. I talk with him.
How would this come about?
He's very guarded. He is very careful about what he says to you.
Mm-hmm.
He's very goal oriented.
Mm-hmm.
He knows where he wants to go,
mm-hmm.
and nothing is going to get in his way if he can help it. So it is very clear that they have united goals, and they are really sticking to those goals.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter to them whether we recognize
mm-hmm.
what they're trying to do or not. I mean, their attitude seems to be, this is our survival,
mm-hmm.
and we are going to hold to it.
Oh.
So it's clear that they do not intend to be pushed off of their goals. Everyone has made an effort to reason,
mm-hmm.
and try to reason with them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think there's a level of reason that we can find that's in common.
Mm-hmm.
They will only do what they absolutely have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's as little as they can.
Little as they can. Well, like I said, we have with us here this morning United States Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson, 30th District, and Representative 100th District here in the state of Texas is Eric Johnson. And Representative Johnson, let me ask you, how do you get along with these fellas that you know is out to take away the right to vote of our people? How do you?
Well, actually, they'll never admit that. And when you, and speaking of it, I must say this: the person who is most upfront and honest about what the goal is that I work with is Joe Biden.
Okay.
He
let you know where he's coming from.
He'll tell you the truth about it. If you ask him a question, you'll get a true answer.
Y'all have adjoining districts. Do your district touch here somewhere?
I think it does. Yes.
Down in southeast or somewhere.
Southwest end.
Southwest end. Yeah. Now, who's that over there at the southeast end of your district? What representative? He's. I'm trying to think of the guy's name.
Henselin.
Yeah, Henselin is on the southwest. In fact, you're the only Democrat we have in the North Texas area, correct?
Well, now we do have another one.
Yes. Mark Vesey. Yeah, Mark. Yes, and at least we have two. But for years you were sort of on an island here in North Texas.
Yes.
By yourself, and how you pulled this off, I don't know. How you funded DART and so many other operations that you did, but that meant you did have to get along with some of these people in order to get what you wanted done. Is that correct?
Well, yes, and the focus was really on the projects themselves, and it really didn't get impossible until after the election in 2010, when the Tea Party influx came.
Right.
It became much more difficult to get anything done. And it continues now. Some of the Tea Party people were defeated in the last election, but we also elected a few others.
Well, but now we got to look at 2014. I had asked Representative Johnson, and when I'm saying Representative Congresswoman, I'm talking about the statement, and I'd ask him about 2014 and what we have to do. How are y'all going to work to ignite our base in 2014? How he's going to ignite our base in 2014? We know you can get the people out to vote. You are our most influential politician here in North Texas, in our community. You by far. You think you're going to work with some of the state, other people, other officials around to ignite our base in 2014?
Well, I think we'll repeat what we've always done. However, I must say that before that election, there's a very real possibility there'll be more redistricting. We have won lawsuits in two different circuits, also on two different sections of the Civil Rights Act, Section 2 and Section 5. The appeal the state has now pending before the Supreme Court is on Section 5. I don't know whether they'll hear it just based on on Shelby County being there and having been argued on the same section of the Voting Rights Act. However, if they uphold Section 5, we have no choice one way or the other to redistrict, because the districts we're in were only for this election that we just had. So how that turns out will have a lot to do with what we need to do to get the vote out. And I'm hoping that we'll have time to educate people to understand what's at risk and what we have to do to maintain or to even get more. We don't expect that we'll get an additional African American seat. We're trying to make sure we save what we have.
So y'all are actually just playing defense, no offense, because of the way things are set up.
We're playing defense and offense because it is to our best interest to help get Latino districts as well. Because Latinos more than likely will, by majority, just as we will vote Democrat. So we're trying to get more Democratic seats to impact the Congress as a whole here.
Now, when you were in Austin, you was a representative and a state senator. Did Latinos and African Americans basically work together during that time?
Yes, we did. And we had fewer Latinos, of course, than we have now.
Mm-hmm.
And but we did work together. And up here, we worked together. As a matter of fact, when I was chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, I organized the Tri-Caucus, which consists of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus and the Congressional Asian American Pacific Caucus. And we still work together.
Eric, are y'all working together down in Austin now?
Yes, we are. And I think Congresswoman Johnson is right, and that's kind of the way it's been for a long time. So we see our interests as being very much aligned, and we work together quite well.
What about the Hispanic Caucus in Washington and the Black Caucus? Do y'all ever convene, Congresswoman Johnson?
We convene all the time. We meet very, very frequently.
Okay. I'm up against a short break. Could y'all hold 1 second, and we'll take a short break, and I'll be right back. Putting me back on there.
You're on here.
All right, I'm back on it. Yeah, we got Clinton here in the studio. We're having some technical difficulties this morning, but we have with us two illustrious guests, State Representative Eric Johnson and Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. And we're going to go back. I know our lines, y'all are calling. I know I've been hogging the line, but I really want to get some clarity. Congresswoman Johnson, will Head Start and other nutrition programs, will sequestration be affected by that?
Oh, indeed. Yes, without a doubt. If they have not already felt it, it's not going to be like a cliff. It's not going to be felt overnight. But the cuts are on the table. They are automatically being made, or as long as sequester is in effect. And so we have a number of kids in Head Start, in Title I programs, WIC programs, nutrition programs, all will be cut tremendously. And we have so many jobs in Texas that will be cut. And you know, our smaller airports, where you don't see people flying out of those airports, but those airports are really local economy for those cities. A good example is Grand Prairie. When I first came to Washington, the Grand Prairie mayor called and asked if I could please help them get a control tower that meant their economy in Grand Prairie.
Right.
I was able to do that, and their economy has profited from that airport. But the first round of cuts for the air traffic controllers will include Grand Prairie and possibly what we used to call Redbird, the executive airport. Those airports move more goods than people, and that's the economy.
Right. That's a lot of jobs. I tell you what, now, we're going to take a short break now, and we'll be back in just one moment. Our guest this morning is Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson and State Legislator Eric Johnson. And you all will be able to talk to them. I guarantee I won't hog the phone. 972-647-1893. I'll be right back.
Is your child overweight? 35% of children in North Texas are overweight or obese. Did you know that childhood obesity can be a precursor to long-term physical and psychological problems affecting health into adulthood? There are ways you can help your child avoid these issues. The Dallas Area Coalition to Prevent Childhood Obesity promotes healthy lifestyles through physical activity and nutrition. For more information, call 214-944-4212 or the Community Council of Greater Dallas's website at ccgd.org and click on their health page to find out how to help the kids in your life.
Would you help the world to burn?
This is Sonny Boy Mark, and I'd like to take a minute here to tell you about over 60 minutes of great blues listening available now on KNON's Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 Blues CD. This is some great stuff, folks. 15 tracks from the Two-Tones, Blues Boy Bo, Betty Whittington, Andrea Dawson, Kirkland James, Sonny Colley, Johnny Red and the Roosters, the Chris Watson Band, the Rough Cut Blues Band, Jeff Stone with Charlie Love, David Millsap, Sir Loin and the Ass Kicking Machine, Michael J. and the Paul Bird Band, and JJ and the Detonators. The 1,000 copies we made are selling fast, and we won't reissue it. Get yours now at Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, Record Town in Fort Worth, and in Dallas at Bill's Records and Rewind Music. The CD is available as a download at cdbaby.com. All proceeds benefit KNON, sponsored by Forever Young Records. Vinyl copies available at Forever Young Records only. For more info on Texas Blues Radio Volume 5, visit knon.org. Your ears been bending for some blues? Well, feed them the real thing with Texas Blues Radio Volume 5.
Top Dollar Tax Service. Tax preparation offering services for business and personal taxes. Electronic filing, W-2s, Schedule Cs, 1099. Student credit funded in 24 hours. That's Top Dollar Tax Service, located at 3333 Cedar Crest Boulevard in Dallas. Their phone number is 214-941-1176 or on the web at www.topdollartaxservice.com. Serving the community for over 8 years, a CPA is available. They are open Monday through Saturdays, 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. and Sundays by appointment. For information, Omar at 214-941-1176. That's 214-941-1176. R&R Productions presents the Sensational Harmonizers album debut. Saturday, March the 30th at the Greater Macedonia Primitive Baptist Church, located at 8343 Bruton Road in Dallas. Featuring the Southern Sons of Memphis, Tennessee, Reverend E.J. Lee and the Rapturers of Dallas, Kings of Harmony Plus One, Minister Israel Davis, and the new outstanding gospel singers from Fort Worth. Guest MC Sister Francis Smith. Doors open at 4:30. Program starts at 5. Tickets available at Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie and Bill's Records on Lamar in Dallas. For further information, 214-275-7560 or 214-375-8150.
Yo, what's up? I'm gonna kick it with the line, y'all know. Yo, Slim, can I kick it like that? Here we go. Well, it's time to make that change. People of the world.
All right, we're back on Church Information Open Forum. Now I feel better. I've heard my theme song. All righty. Congresswoman Johnson is here. She's going to have to be leaving. And Congresswoman, would you like to make a statement and say anything that we didn't cover you'd like to cover?
Well, I think that we've touched on most of the things that I would like to cover. I really want to make sure that people understand that the cuts are coming. We're trying our best to avert any further damage, but no matter what we do right now, there's going to be some, because sequester has been in effect now a week, and it takes a while to feel it, but it takes a while also to go back and change it. And so...
is it anything, not cutting you off, but is it anything we here in your district and districts across the nation, is it anything we can do to help y'all? Is it anything?
Well, sure. Mostly the Republicans, because they're the ones who are getting the greatest joy, getting any joy at all out of this. This is what they wanted to do. They think it's going to hurt the president, and ultimately it will hurt the economy. If you listen to the reports on yesterday, you know the economy was still growing.
Still doing well.
But when this is designed for the sole purpose, at this point, to make sure that does not go forth, and that is that they know that that he's not running again, but they hope to damage the Democratic Party enough to give them an edge the next election. That's really much of what this is about, and also to cut the programs that they consider programs for the poor. There's real contempt for the poor and the attitudes of these Republicans. And most of them think that if they cut all the benefits to the poor, people will go back to the countries they came from, and they won't be around. It is illogical thinking, because the same people who are doing the cutting are the same ones who cause many of the poor immigrants anyway to come to this country because that's who's hiring them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, anyway, we like to thank you and thank you for your information, and people are glad to always hear you on the air and telling us what's going on in Washington. Will there be a go right ahead.
I can stay long enough to take a question if there are questions out there.
All right, okay. If we, she can stay along and take bring on Greg on line 4. Greg, you're on with Congresswoman Johnson. Is Greg there? Oh, well, we haven't. Congresswoman, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, obviously we're having problems on our lines. We're having problems here. But
I think the lines are fine. I think he may have hung up.
He might have hung up?
Yeah.
Okay. All righty. Congresswoman Johnson, and let's look at one thing. One thing I really wanted to ask you about when it comes to sequestration. Is it like a frog sitting in water on a stove, and the water is cold, and you cut the water on? It will get hotter, but at the same time, the frog won't leap because you didn't put him in hot water. The Republicans are trying to push this thing. We told you nothing's going to happen with sequestration, but I hear you saying that later on we're going to feel it.
Yes, sequestration is not like the cliff. It's not going to stop overnight. Programs that are funded now will have funds that last for a little while. But when those funds run out, they will not be replaced. That's the same thing with Meals on Wheels. And that will probably be some immediate. They'll hold on as long as they can to see if there's going to be a change. But companies like Lockheed Martin and Volt that have lots of federal defense contracts, we might lose 100,000 jobs.
Wow.
In our defense area.
And those are good paying jobs.
Good paying jobs. They're jobs that pay much more than minimum wage. And this gets into our middle class income people.
Yeah.
And that's who keeps the economy going. Well, if they lay off, they can't purchase. If there's no purchasing, there's no need to manufacture. So it's not just those jobs. The manufacturing jobs that bring the products to the market will also cut because there'll be no need if people are not buying them. So it hurts the entire economy. On the front end, directly, it hurts the people who are holding these jobs. But the effect of losing those jobs will effectively make other jobs be lost. We lose teachers, especially teachers in Title I and in Head Start, all of that. People that are working now and have a little assistance for daycare, that disappears. Now, what does that do for that person? These are primarily people not making a lot of money that's getting that assistance in the first place.
Right. Well, now, I've been hearing that it will not affect Social Security. Is that true?
Well, to this extent, it won't affect Social Security where people are dependent totally on Social Security. If there's any income coming in as they get Social Security, that amount will be affected. Those payroll taxes will be very different.
So, in other words, if you have a job and working, but drawing a Social Security check, when you're allowed to draw so much money. Make so much money while drawing Social Security. Is that the money you're talking about?
Yeah, the payroll taxes have already been affected. They were effective starting January the 1st.
Yeah, they went up to what? That 2%? That
I'm not sure the percentage.
It was 4.2 that would go out that the worker paid. Now they have to pay 6.2% of their income. And that basically, it was placed there as sort of a trap door, but at the same time, with losing money in the long run, do you really believe that they're trying to destroy President Obama's legacy as a president?
Oh, indeed. They've started that from the time he was elected the first time. But, so far he's been strong enough to plunge ahead. Because I think the majority of the people in this country know where he's coming from. He's trying to make it a better place and trying to plug in these holes. He picked up the worst economy in the history of the country when he got elected. And because we had gone through 2 unplanned wars and a big tax break for the wealthy, and they don't match. You can't give a tax break when you got an unlimited amount of money going out for wars. And because we were the unilateral first strike going into Iraq, we didn't have NATO troops to help.
That's right.
We were in it alone because we had no real reason to go into that war.
So we had to finance it
alone.
We had to finance it by ourselves.
Totally. And much of that financing went to a company that had sole source contracts through the White House that took billions of dollars in Iraq. Halliburton had the contract for practically everything going on in Iraq, which was the vice president's company where he had been, and continues, I think, to get some type of retainer. Now, that was the most unnecessary expenditures that we've had in the history of this country.
Billions of dollars.
Because we were spending many billions a week and a month with the longest war, the most unnecessary war, a war that we had first strikes and unilateral strikes. That's why we have NATO. When we get into large world situations, NATO is put together so some of that responsibility can be shared. We didn't qualify to get NATO assistance there because we were not struck first, and there was no logical reason for us to strike alone.
Okay.
So that's what happened. We had to put this entire war ourselves, and there's still a lot of cleanup and nation rebuilding in Iraq before we can totally close the door.
All right. I'm going to take advantage of you being on there. I'm gonna, come on, people. I'm going to let y'all talk to Congresswoman Johnson. Let me take advantage of it. Let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Michael. All righty? All righty. Good morning, Michael.
Hey, good morning. It's an honor to talk to the Congresswoman here. I wanted to remind people, as she's reminding people, about the horrible decision we made to go to these 2 wars. And it looks to me like the news media is all in marching step to try to get us involved in another war in Syria, which would be just as bad as those. I think it's a horrible idea for the CIA to be going into Syria and stirring up all this trouble that caused 1 million people to be displaced, 70,000 killed. And it's the United States. I wish people would Google CIA in Syria and try to find out what the CIA in the United States has been doing in Syria for all these years. I don't condone what Assad is doing, but it's all being brought on by the United States and its plan to take the oil fields, Iraq, Afghanistan, and choke off China. I think that the military strategy to try to take over the world by choking off China by taking the Middle East oil, and closing up the Khyber Pass in Afghanistan was a flawed concept from the beginning. And I appreciate you reminding us about how horrible those wars were in Iraq and Afghanistan, and hope we don't get into Syria.
Yeah, all right. Congresswoman, that was a earful.
Yes.
You have any comments on that?
Well, I hope we can avoid all wars because wars are too destructive on lives as well as on budget.
Right.
And so I'm really not promoting war anywhere. I'm hoping that we can have conflict resolution applied most places. And I think when you bring people to the table and let them dialogue, you can reach some type of an agreement. Because I don't know that there are people anywhere in the world in numbers that want war.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Very good call.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. That clears line 972-647-1893. Let's go to Tony on line 1. You're on with Congresswoman Johnson.
Good morning, Congresswoman and Reverend Barnett.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, my question is, when are the Democrats going to have to really deal with the spending cuts? I'm not talking about the Republican spending cuts. The reality is we're going to have to do something with Social Security. We're going to do something with Medicaid. And we need, and at the end of the day, I think the Democrats need to. I'm 42. I know that they're going to raise the age limit, no matter what people say that's going to happen. But what are the policies that the Democrats going to put in place that's going to save these programs and all of these? Let's not forget.
Well, the president has said all the time that we're willing to look at it, and we are. We're willing to look at it from the standpoint that we sit down with actuarial specialists and decide how we can gradually move up the age. However, if you move up the cap of income from where it is now up to about $200,000, you can make that. You can bring in more dollars there with Social Security. You can take lots of the fraud out of Medicare and bring the expenditures down. I'm not for moving up the cap for eligibility on Medicare, but I am for a number of other changes. And when we can fully implement the American Care Act, the health care bill, then that would automatically help to bring some of the expenditure down. With Medicaid, if we could implement the Health Care Act, that would ultimately bring that down. But because of the resistance, primarily of Republicans to the plan, it's delaying a lot of the implementation. Although there are a number of states who are now beginning to come in. Texas is not one of them, and we're worse off than Texas anywhere else for health care coverage. And we will see a tremendous change in our property taxes if we don't make some kind of change in Texas, because there will be no other place to go to help to compensate uncompensated care at places like Parkland and other hospitals for that matter. So that's in a critical phase. There's nothing that has come up that we've been totally resistant to except unnecessarily cutting Medicare, unnecessarily cutting Medicaid, and unnecessarily cutting Social Security. We want to sit and do it right. We don't want to have a sequester where everything is just cut from the top. You've got to have policies in place that don't damage people when you do that, and it's possible to do that.
All right. Could you take just 1 second out? A female wants to ask you a question, Congresswoman. Bring Barbara on. Good morning, Barbara.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. You're on with Congresswoman Johnson.
Hi, Ms. Johnson. I just want to ask, good morning to you. I just wanted to ask a question. I had been with this company like 27 years, and we was on a contract with the union, but they let me go, and I was wondering, can a company let you go if you're on the union contract?
Well, I can't answer that question that directly, but if you'll call my office, we certainly will look into your situation very directly and individually, because I can't answer that not knowing all the facts. But you can call 214-922-8885, and we'll make sure that someone 214-922 8885.
8885.
All righty.
Okay, thank you.
We'll look into it. Sure.
All righty.
All right.
Thank you, Congresswoman Johnson. Thank you very much. Thank you, and we hope to talk to you later. All right?
All right, have a great day.
All right, you have a great one. All right, I tell you what, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, you will be hearing again State Representative Eric Johnson. All right, we'll be right back.
My grandfather, he loved the boogie. His father, he loved it too. My daddy loved the boogie.
Big Bill Morganfield is coming back.
That's right, the Son of Muddy Waters in Dallas this Saturday night for a big Knon Blues benefit event at Port David's Pub.
Big Bill will be playing his father's guitars during this rare Dallas appearance. Get there early. We'll have free barbecue from the Alligator Cafe.
Also appearing will be the Super Kings and Susie Q and the Shafts, featuring James Hinkle.
Join us for this very special blues event.
Tickets are available now at knon.org, Built Records, and Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie.
This Saturday Saturday, March 9th, it's Big Bill Morganfield with the Super Kings and Susie Q and the Shafts featuring James Hinkle at Port David's Pub. And don't forget that free barbecue dinner from the Alligator Cafe.
Port David's Pub is located at 1313 South Lamar in Dallas.
We'll see you there. This is a KNON benefit event.
If it's time to get rid of your old gas guzzler, the KNON Vehicle Donation Program can help. There's still a market for those old vehicles, and if you donate it, you're helping to support quality programming here on KNON. Just call 877-KNON-AUTO or go online to KNON.org. We'll take care of everything from pickup to tax paperwork. That's 877-KNON-AUTO or online at KNON.org.
Jace Fiber Productions presents the Gigantic Gospel Concert 2013, featuring some of the gospel artists like the Vance Allen Group, Black McKenzie and the Highlights, George Dean and the Gospel 4, Lee Williams and the Spiritual QC, Tim Rogers and the Fellas, Little Roy and the Revelations. Saturday, April 13th at Friendship West Baptist Church, 2020 West Wheatland Road in Dallas, with the Vance Allen, Doc McKenzie and the Highlights, George Dean and the Gospel 4, Lee Williams and the Spiritual QC, Tim Rogers and the Fellas, and Lil Roy and the Revelations. Saturday, April 13th. Doors open at 3 p.m. Show starts at 4. Tickets at ticketweb.com. Friendship West Baptist Church and Jace Spivey Productions at 877-291-1918.
All right, we're back on KNON 89.3 FM, the voice of the people, and our other special guest this morning is Texas State Legislator Eric Johnson. And I see that you're calling. Y'all want to talk to him. He's already talked some this morning, and he talked very well, and y'all really wanted to talk to him. And I tell you what, I know you got a lot of talking points. He got some. I'm going to have to ask him to come back real soon. But we got people that really want to speak.
Let's talk to them.
All righty. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Dr. Drevis Edwards. He's a local physician in our community, a man that has gone to great lengths. And he is one of the few doctors who made house calls. And
okay. I got a back problem. I might talk to him. Does he orthopedic?
But he'd like to talk to you.
Chance?
Yes, Dr. Edwards, are you there?
Yes, sir, Reverend Barnett. How you doing?
Fine. You doing all right this morning?
I'm doing fine. And to your guest, wanted to just make several comments about the current health system, and then how I think we can change it. Let me tell you, I'm a physician, 32 years. We could literally trim $1 trillion out of the healthcare budget just based on doing some simple things. I think that number one, we could, what I call Walmart, the hospital system. Right now, if you call a hospital system, a hospital anywhere local, and say, "Hey, look, I'm going to have a gallbladder on Monday. How much is the room? How much is the operating room? What is it going to cost for the surgeon?" It's against the law, and so they can charge you $12,000-$15,000, and you can't even do anything about it. So I think one of the things we can do is Walmart the hospital system, just like the telephone industry, where hospitals will put their rates up, like hotels, and say, "Hey, this is a good hospital. This is what we charge. It's cheaper." I mean, those are one of the things that we can do. And also, I think we could, on the Medicaid and Medicare system, we've got to go back to doing home visits and reduce the readmission rate. The readmission rate is so high. I mean, it is. I don't even see how the Medicare system is going to be able to survive unless you go back to doing home visits and reduce the readmission rates. And you can really do that. I think you know that I did that back in the early 90s when it wasn't that popular. But they're saying now that if doctors would get out and start doing home visits, it would really, really change the amount of money that we spend.
Yeah, because you're in your own bed and not having to pay for a hospital bed.
Absolutely, and what's happened now, the greatest piece of legislation that has ever come before our country that would benefit African Americans and people of color who are in the healthcare field is the Affordable Care Act. Now, we've got a problem because nobody regulates that. And what is going to happen is the same thing that probably has happened to a number of doctors who are patient advocates. Mm-hmm. They're going to find out that these black doctors and Hispanic doctors are making quite a bit of money in those neighborhoods, and then they're going to jack them up and stop paying them and so forth, and usually these guys get off scot-free. So there's some things that really could be done. I'd really like to come on the show and kind of go over.
Okay, we'll try to have you on. I'll call you later on this morning, and we'll schedule you to come on and explain that this healthcare system that could really be revamped to help everybody.
Okay, and I thank you so much here.
Thank you, Doc. All right, that clears the line, 972-647-1893. Let's go to line, line 1, and say good morning to Casey. You on with Representative Johnson. All righty. Good morning, Casey.
What's going on, Pastor Barnett?
Fine. How are you this morning?
Doing good. Representative Johnson. What's going on, Newt?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Doing good. Good to hear you.
Appreciate you calling. I appreciate you calling in, man.
Oh, anytime. Hey, what I wanted to speak about and have you to elaborate, you may have already touched on it. I taped the show because I was getting ready to get out of town for spring break, so I didn't get a chance to hear it. But about this same-day voting bill that you filed, and I want to commend you for doing that. If you could kind of give us, the thought process on that and any feedback that may come along with that, and that way we can educate the voters, listen to the audience who are voters about that particular issue.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about that. No, you didn't miss it. We didn't actually get a chance to talk about that particular bill, but I did file a bill that has been referred to the Elections Committee that would create a same-day voter registration regime in Texas. And I don't want to take full credit for the idea because one of our frat brothers, Casey Thomas, first brought the idea to me about filing that bill. And I worked with him on it, and I told him let's talk to the folks in the Democratic caucus down in Austin. If we can get everybody kind of on board with the concept, I'll file it. He did that, and I kept my word, and I filed it. So that's the way I like to do stuff. I get ideas from the community, and I don't lie to people and tell them I'm gonna file bills and then don't file them. I tell them, hey, if you can do the legwork and get the community support behind it and line it up, then I'll do my job, which is to get it filed and to get it heard in committee. So it's in the Elections Committee, and what it would basically do is it would allow Texas, and we would join really a handful of other states. Not that many states do this, but this is the right thing to do if what you want is more participation. Because I did say this before. If you believe the biggest problem facing American elections is that not enough people participate in them, not that people are fraudulently participating in them multiple times, then you'll want to pass legislation that helps people participate. So what this bill says is if on election day you walk into a polling location and you're not registered, you can be registered on the spot and vote on the spot. That's what it says.
That's great. That would be something that I know you're going to meet vicious opposition from the Republicans on that But so if we go to the polls in 14. Well, I think we got some feedback. Go to the polls in 14 and can get a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate. That's a good chance that legislation would be riding high.
Well, we're not really numerically close enough, I think, to switch the House and Senate by next cycle. It's a little, the gap is a little bigger.
They gerrymandered themselves.
Yeah, it's a little bigger than that. I mean, I think over the course of this decade, we're definitely gonna make some progress. Enough progress, I hope, to by 2020 when we're in that redistricting situation again in 2021, the outcome will be different. But
the fight has started.
The fight has started, and what we're trying to do. You asked before about what we need to be doing in 2014 to get people out to vote and get people motivated. We need to do the same thing in 2014 that we need to do in every cycle between now and 2021, which is we need to focus on state legislative seats. I'm just going to put it out there.
That's right.
I'm not saying that other elections aren't important. I'm not saying your presidentials are not important.
Yeah,
but the most important thing for Texas, if what you want to see is progressive leadership in the state, a progressive governor, somebody who would actually accept the Medicaid expansion money instead of playing games with it, somebody who would actually fund our public schools instead of playing games with the education budget, somebody who would do the things that people in Texas really need, we have to flip the legislature so that we can draw districts that will preserve that kind of a majority and can elect a Democratic speaker and a Democratic majority in the House, and then in the Senate, same situation. We need enough Democrats over there where we can get our agenda to a Democratic governor who will sign these things into law. Because right now, there are just too many opportunities for good policy ideas to fail. We can't get them out of the House. Or we can get them out of the House, we can't get them out of the Senate. We can get them out of the Senate, we can't get them signed by the governor. You know, it's too much.
Roadblocks everywhere.
Yeah, you pass something you like, you got an attorney general, or you get a law from the federal government that does something that is beneficial. The attorney general of the state wants to sue the federal government to make sure we can't do it. So we got an attorney general whose whole political agenda is opposing the Obama administration in court and suing them at every turn, suing the EPA, suing the Justice Department, suing whoever he can to try to make a name for himself and keeping us from having the benefits of these federal laws.
What about those judges on the Supreme Court?
Which ones? The federal Supreme Court?
No, state.
What about them? I mean, a majority of them are Republican. I mean, all the state government is in the hands of the Republicans.
We don't have anybody Democrat elected statewide anyway.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Now, this used to be a Democratic state.
It did.
Although the philosophy is still about the same. All right, 972-647-1893 is the number to call. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to Ike. All righty? Good morning, Ike.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett.
Fine. How are you this morning?
Doing great. I'm going to try to make it quick and brief. I'm enjoying the program. But I wanted to ask Representative Johnson about something that's been surfaced in the paper about them trying to change the open record policy or the open records law down in Austin, where you can't go into the open records and look at, say, like if you want to look at the background of police officers, judges, or even politicians who has contracts with the state or the county or the city. I'm concerned about that because it looks like somebody's trying to do something to hide something that they don't want the public to see, because right now the open records law allows you to go in and look at it, but but when you come up against somebody just like the Deanna Cook case, I used that. Well, they kind of withheld a lot of evidence under the umbrella of an ongoing investigation, which I know that's legal. But now when you start tampering with the open records laws, I mean, we got a problem there, and I'd like to hear him kind of elaborate on that real quick.
Yes, sir. Right. No, I appreciate the question. I'm not familiar with the specific piece of legislation, but let me tell you where I am philosophically and what I will commit to you that I'll always do. I am always going to be on the side of greater transparency. I don't like secret government. I don't like the people being somehow isolated from the decisions and how the decisions are made by their elected officials. I want to see things become more transparent. I'm actually on a special select committee this session that the speaker appointed that's supposed to be looking at state agencies, which is the only level of government we really are authorized to look at, to make sure that what they're doing is more transparent. So any legislation, which I've not heard about yet, that would actually go the opposite direction, I would be opposed to, and I think that I would have some support in the legislature on both sides of the aisle to kill something like that, because what we are seeing right now is an increased number of cases where state government agencies, private foundations that support some of these state agencies. You've heard probably about the Cancer Prevention Research Organization, the CPRIT organization, and how they've gotten in, into some hot water for some things that they've done that they did because nobody knew what they were doing. I mean, it wouldn't have ever gotten to this point if we had more transparency. So there's really kind of a movement, I think, in the opposite direction right now to look at some more of these the government operations and see how people are spending taxpayer money, where the money's coming from, how much. Another big issue, how much these people are being compensated, and I don't know if some of y'all are aware, but I mean we have state agency executive directors who are making considerable amounts of money in their salary, which is fine. Some of these jobs are complicated, but some of them have bonus structures that would make a Wall Street firm blush. I mean, I'm talking about 100% type bonuses where somebody's getting a $150,000 salary and then they're getting a $150,000 bonus, an annual bonus.
Right.
I mean, that's
doubling their salary.
Yeah, doubling their, and who knows that's going on? Who knows how those decisions get made? Legislators don't even know, in many cases, where this money's coming from to compensate these people, and where the policy is that says that they are entitled or able to be given a bonus like that. So I'm in favor of opening the window to government and having more transparency.
All right. Thank you, Hank. That clears the line, 972-647-1893. We're just about out of time. What do we need to look for coming out of Austin this year? Are there some things coming down the pike that we might not have heard of or have heard of? Can you kind of let us know what's coming down the pike?
Yeah, in the 2 minutes I have, I'll tell you what the main issues are, and we need to come back and go through more.
Right,
but number one, I will say is transportation and water funding is a big priority of the leadership down there. Those are very important things. We are in a drought. We've been in a drought for a while. Texas does have a long-range need for more water supply, so we need to do something on water. I'm on the committee that oversees that, and we're working on that. We need to fund transportation more because we are, things are we're getting more congested in our major urban areas. Some of our roads are being torn up because of all the trucks associated with this hydraulic fracturing stuff that we use to generate natural gas. So
fracking.
The frack is tearing up the roads, basically. So we need to do something on transportation. But the most important thing we need to do is restore the funding to education that we cut from last session. So those are the things you're going to be hearing a lot about. The debate will be about how much money we can restore to the education budget, K through 12 and higher education, and what we're going to do for our long-range needs in transportation and water.
All right. We'd like to thank State Representative Eric Johnson for being part of our program. Also, United States Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. They're not related, but then again, they are related in many ways the way they think. All righty. But we'd like to thank both of them for being a part of our program. We'd like to thank you for listening. Thank you for calling. I am here every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. I'm also the senior pastor of Heavenly Joy Church. We're located at Bruton and Masters here in the city of Dallas. Service again at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning, Sunday school 9:30. So come by and be with us. We praise the Lord and teach the people. Coming next is Workers Beat, and stay tuned to all of the great programming right here on KNON 89.3 FM, the voice of the people. Have a
KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.